Hey everybody, welcome back to From the Couch. It's your host, Tony Jordan.
I'm Uche, and yeah, back again for Williams.
Back again. So this is our fourth, fifth,
It's about
sixth,
It's
10th, 12th,
you
something
sound
like that.
Remember when LeBron said, "How many championships you won in? Not one, not two." That's what you saw.
Exactly.
How you been?
Good, man. Good. Yeah, we had a incredibly busy last week. Just spending some time we had a ton of family that came in, friends that came in for my daughter's graduation.
High school,
Yeah,
college?
high school.
Okay.
Yep. So that emotional roller coaster as being a dad, firstborn,
Yeah.
graduating, going through those.
How did that feel?
It's interesting, So it's funny. So as I'm watching her, I'm getting chills talking about it too. So as I'm watching her kind of walk up the aisle, I got emotional. I wasn't like crying or anything like that. Nothing wrong with that, but if you do, but I just there's this sense of pride that took over me, and just really excited and really grateful and thankful that we had so many family and friends that came from all over the country to see her graduate. And
Did you yell like, "That's mine"?
Well, it's funny. So since she's been in kindergarten, so where they go to school at, they would do these award ceremonies.
Yeah.
And one year, this was her kindergarten year, I yell out, "Yeah, T-Bird!" So I've always just called her T-Bird, and so that's stuck with her. And her friends at school were asking, "Hey, is your dad going to yell out T-Bird?" And my youngest daughter is sitting two down from me, and she's thinking to herself, because she said this afterwards. She's is dad going to yell out yeah, T-Bird? And so she gets her diploma from the headmaster, and as she's walking across, the applause stops and it's dead silent. I'm like, "Yeah, T-Bird." Yeah, so it's
you
funny.
Had to wait for it to dawn down.
Yeah, exactly. And so just a lot of kids would get embarrassed by that, but I think me being her dad, she's been accustomed to embarrassment. So it kind of got past her, for the long haul there. But it's such a blessing having just awesome kids for starters. But when you see some accomplishments take place, in their life, and you're part of that, and able to really congratulate them, and now. The transition for her, she's going to go on to college in the fall, and that's probably where I will be a babbling brook and crying all over the place.
Dropping her off at school.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that her mom's going to be in that same situation.
Yeah.
And, we did a little cake ceremony after graduation, and we had our friends and family that were over, and I give kind of a little speech as we're chatting, and during that time, I could see not a dry eye in the room, and I'm locked in on telling the story.
Wow.
And my voice got a little
little
choked up. Yeah. So
my sister, she actually graduated recently. She graduated college from McDaniel a couple weeks ago. Last 2 weekends ago, same scenario. Everybody came in from out of town, and we kind of embarrassed her when she walked across the stage because she was president of her honor society.
Oh, so really? Wow.
We had
awesome.
no idea. And when she walked across the stage, they announced all her accolades and stuff, and we were like, "Ooh!" Started going crazy, so much that it really stood out. It was me and my three brothers, so we all played football. So we were loud, you know. And her friends were like, "Scream for me like that too." It was a really happy, fun, proud moment for all of us.
Yeah.
So I know the feeling.
Yep, that's we just talk about accomplishments that we have in many aspects of life, and that being graduation from high school, a stepping stone, graduation from college, a stepping stone, and just moving into the next phase of life. And during those phases, we come in contact with great people that help us to grow in many ways. And that's kind of where our next little segment here will segue into, which is into business. And for me, starting Weeghman and Briggs, that was an effort based on relationships that I had built over many years, and just recognizing that I want to build, my dream the way I want to build my dream, and that's bringing as many.
Was that your mindset since like college?
Yeah,
it took a while.
That's a great question. I don't know if I would say it's like my mindset since college, but for me, after my military time, getting out, I worked at a few different companies, and started to get into like management level and director level positions, and then I started to I think that's where it started to form, because there were great aspects about each of the companies that I worked for. Like, oh, I love that benefit package that they have. I love the leave opportunities there. I love the culture there. But no one had all of that balled into one. And so that's what kind of started my thought process of, I could either build someone else's dream or build my own dream. So I want to take all of those great components of all of those companies that I had worked at and build that into something that having our team at Weeghman Briggs feel that they're part of it, and that they want to do that. Now, another aspect of that, and I say this every single time that I chat with a new potential employee, that tell me your goals and dreams.
Yeah.
Tell me the things that you want to do.
What's your ambitions like? So I can better help you, and because I'm pretty sure, like you said, connections that kind of made you that kind of cultivated your mind to say, I want this for myself. And I definitely understand what you mean by asking other people, just even your employees, you want them to grow their own wings too, you take them under your wings so that way they can grow their wings eventually.
Exactly. And that helps, it generates a great culture here at the company or wherever you are, that you generate an opportunity for, our team to say, hey, I have interest in growing in this aspect. Well, if we have the vehicle here, that's a fantastic opportunity. And I think, you and I had talked about this before, hey, let's get to the point where, you're running an entire IT department and an entire segment of our business that's providing support to other companies.
Yeah, and that's why I love that about you. Like, you're really like sort of, you're not just a boss, you're also like a mentor sort of. And I love that. I was like, wow, he's giving me a lot of responsibility, asking where I want to go, how big I want to take this, and, come work for Weeghman and Briggs. Yeah, you really care. Like, you like I said, you take your employee under your wing and you kind of like feed them, give them with the information they need. You're always trying to help, and I think that's really important. Like, it's a great thing that you do, and not a lot of CEOs do that. So thank you for that also.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that compliment.
So what are some of the challenges you had starting off with your business?
Goodness. Many of them. So many sleepless nights. So as everybody knows by now, I'm a dad, and so it's family first. So ensuring that I'm able to make it to, all my kids' events that's going on. I'm a husband, so ensuring that
So sort of like work-life balance.
Yes. Gotcha. And so it's kind of funny. I'll segue real quick and then jump back to answer the question. But that's why we have, the benefits that we do, the leave setup that we do, so everyone has that capability of generating a great work-life balance.
Yeah, I love that.
But to segue back in, some major struggles were trying to do everything all on my own. And so I needed to find somebody. So I'm reaching out to colleagues that I had met, throughout my entire career, and asking, hey, do you have anyone that is an FSO, for instance? And that's where Jen came in. And then her and I sitting down and having multiple conversations about, hey, this is how I think we can grow the company, and feeding ideas off her and getting her side of things from an HR perspective as well, because she wears that hat as well. And then recruiting, she was doing, that portion too. So she's, got all these different hats that she's wearing. But that was taking that off of my plate, so I could still provide a service to our DoD customer. So throughout that entire process, it was definitely a struggle in finding time. I think that's probably the most valuable commodity that is.
There is. Of anything.
Right, exactly.
I think it was King Henry, one of the English monarchs. He said the most irrecoverable asset of all time is time, because once you lose it, you never get it back.
Exactly.
So you have to be wise with it. You have to structure yourself in a way, like, I think it was Kobe Bryant. It's like he calls it the rule of 20, I think, where he breaks the hour down into 20 minutes, 20, 40, 60.
Right.
And that's pretty much how he tackles his day.
Yeah.
So managing your time is definitely an important part of running a business, I imagine.
Yeah. And that's like where the multiple struggles came in, as all of these things all at once, the invoicing, the billing, the books, the yada, 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 all these different things. And I came to the realization through multiple conversations with various mentors that I've had in my life and career, and asking them about, hey, who do you use? Do you have somebody that you use? And that helped us, with identifying who can help with our billing system, our book system. And then slowly but surely, as we began to grow on multiple programs, we had the opportunity of being able to then bring in more individuals in-house to do some things. Gotcha. So the CMMC and NIS 171, those are things that I had no clue about, but that segued into a conversation with you that brought you in here, that generates that same opportunity that we talked about just earlier.
One thing leads to another.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think for me, a struggle at first was just time. Yep.
So any advice on that? What's some advice you can give to some young entrepreneurs looking to start?
Yeah, so great question. And I think that is probably a branch of the question that I asked, what are your goals and what are your dreams? Yeah. And so when I hear someone say, hey, I want to run my own business like one day, my first statement that I say as soon as I hear that, well, come sit with me, and then you can see exactly some of the things that you go through. Here. So I would say anyone that's interested in starting their own business, generate a solid business plan. What does that look like? Now, it doesn't have to be to a T, because everyone could say like that starts in DoD contracting. Oh, I want to have a 1,000-person company in 5 years. Well, I mean, there's some realistic things that an individual needs to go through. Yeah. So it's getting the right people around you and then generating the right questions. And so I think that this forum right here from the couch generates that opportunity. So if someone has that question, hey, I'm interested in about entrepreneurship, and I'm not not the greatest at that by any means, but there are things that I went through, and if someone had a question to ask about, what were some of the steps, that's a process, and they have the capability of being able to ask us here, and then eventually be able to maybe churn that process on their end, or just come on board and maybe have a business focus that they would see as a branch of Weeghman and Briggs.
Yeah, sort of like your shadow. Yep. Get what you're saying. That's awesome, man.
Yep. So that's I think that's a great question to ask. Anytime any entrepreneur has that fortitude to go out and do something. Find the right people around you and ask the right questions. Yeah. And then just time management is always going to be that key thing. There was a study I heard once, actually at my kid's school. They did a test to ask kids, hey, how much time are you spending on each subject? And they wanted them to write it down. And then they added the time up at the end of the exercise. And the exercise stated that these kids were spending 38 hours a day doing exactly. So it's impossible, right? So there's no time for sleep, but their classroom work, their homework, there's the study aspect of things, the sports, the phone time, the yada yada, name all that, and that's what it equated to. And that right there is a great tell of that. Time is
everything.
Exactly.
Time is everything.
Yep.
You got to manage your time well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's name this podcast the Time episode.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Time your life or something to that effect. So speaking of that, which is kind of interesting, is we are just a couple of days away from our trip out to Greece, and I know that Greece and Italy. So I know that we had talked about how we would generate a podcast on that end to allow for me to call in or do something to that effect. So we can figure that out through email or whatever that is. But yeah, I definitely want to be a part of that. If we could do some sort of live chat or video chat, that'd be great. Maybe bring the monitors and stuff in. And,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll be next to the couch or something like that.
From the flat screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this was a great episode, man.
Yeah.
I feel like we got a lot of information. You know, people can time. That's what we're going to call this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think time is the most important thing you said. Time management.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. So, as always, if you guys have any questions, that any of our viewers have any questions, please, feel free to reach out to us. If you have some ideas on, different episodes and things that we should cover, feel free to reach out to us. I mean, we're excited about growing with you, growing together, growing as a podcast, as a company, and our goal is just to educate and give as much information as possible. So, with that said, thank you again for tuning in, and till next time, this Tony Uche from the couch out.
From the couch. Awesome.